April is the month that you do that thing that you know is going to change your life forever. Hey guys, I'm nikkinovo and I have 7 predictions for the month of April that's really gonna help you take advantage of all this life-changing energy that is coming forward for April. We're gonna set seeds that really start to show up come July, August, and September, but you have to be ready to take advantage of everything that April has. So here are 7 predictions for the month of April. Prediction number 1, sacred fire and even sacred anger. So what do I mean by that? There's some sort of intense energy coming within you that is a fire type energy. So this might be just like a go, let's get this done, like let's push, let's go. But it can also be, I am so fed up with this, I'm so over this, I'm so angry that I'm gonna go. So don't be afraid of that, because my sense is that anger or even this fire is not typical to you. I'm a Cancer everything, so I don't really use too much fire. I have a lot of water and emotions and feelings, but again, if it is a fiery emotion, I'll use it. And that's kind of what this feels like. It is a fiery emotion that you might at first be a little bit surprised about or even judge yourself for, like, oh, it's so unholy to be mad at this person, or it's so unholy to be mad at this situation, so I'm just gonna push it down. No, let this come forward, even if it's kind of messy and sloppy. Think about a fire. It does not hold back, right? It's going to spread. It is not careful, it just goes. So you may not be very careful in the way that you move forward, but you do want to take advantage of the momentum and really trust that this is coming forward for a reason. So don't be afraid to be upset, to be over it, to be just like, I can't take this anymore, or really don't be afraid of, I don't know why, but I feel so focused. I can't do anything else but do this one thing that I'm really being called to do, and I have to ignore everything else because this needs to get done. That's the vibe for April, and that is the sacredness of this fire that's coming forward that is just going to really support you on your soul's path and where you're really supposed to go. So use it. Don't be afraid of it. Drink some water, but enjoy it. Enjoy this fire. Prediction number 2. It seems like you are going to be doing it, but you're going to be doing it scared. So there is definitely some steps being taken. April's a very action-oriented month. Of course, it is the month of Aries, so we know that. But this is just like the things I've been thinking about and I didn't feel clear about the last few months. I'm starting to feel either bored of myself, like annoyed at myself for not doing it or for talking about it forever. I'm like annoyed at myself, and that's cool. Or it's just time. There's this overall feeling, but it doesn't mean that you don't feel afraid. So I think that you might have thought that you were not going to be afraid by the time it came to take action on this thing, and maybe you were waiting to not be afraid, but it looks like you're just finally like over it and you're just like, I'm going to do it even though I am afraid. And I would, to validate that fear, I mean, honestly, you're going into the unknown. So of course you're going to be afraid. I just don't see any way of you not being afraid, because it truly is, you're going into something that almost makes me feel like it hasn't been built before. It hasn't been done before, whether you haven't done it before, or even maybe people in your family or in your industry, your career, like just haven't really taken this path, and that's why it feels very scary. So it could be a move, it could be a change in the way you do business, it could be a change in what your family usually does and what you're doing. So I get it, like you're not supposed to feel 100% amazing and confident and not uncomfortable, because you are going into the unknown. But just like the movie Frozen 2, you can't help but follow those whispers. And they're absolutely your whispers. They're very divine. It makes me feel they're very ancestral. They're very angelic whispers that are taking you and leading you step by step very carefully. Like you might not be able to see everything. You're really going to just see one step at a time. And that's because you have to think that you're kind of a baby in this place that you're going. So think about when a baby's learning to walk, like we're not teaching the baby how to run. We're not getting the baby shoes. We're going to be like, oh, just take one step forward. Now take another step forward. Oh, look, now maybe you can start running a little bit, or, we can put shoes on you. Like there's all these stages. So to trust that you don't see the full finish line, because that's how divinely protected you are in this moment, that you're very loved and you're protected and you're being supported. And that's why like there's no need to overwhelm you with like every single step and every single detail. But nonetheless, we move forward into the unknown. Prediction number 3. This is kind of scandalous, you guys. There's a lot of meanings to this one, but I was getting there's going to be some sort of secret love affair. I feel like there's a lot of messages here, so this could be exactly what you think, an affair. Like there's somebody that is catching my attention. They shouldn't be catching my attention. This is kind of a no-no. There's a little bit of that going on. This is also, I have been working in this career forever and I loved it. And now something is calling my attention and I'm kind of scared that I'm being drawn to something that is so different than my work. Makes me feel like I was in love with fashion and beauty editing, and that was like what I thought I was going to do for the rest of my life. I thought I was just going to continue to be an editor and climb that ladder. And then all of a sudden spirituality came my way and I was secretly in love with it. I would go to my magazine job during the day at my really fancy office in, downtown Miami. And at night I would come and read like the weirdest metaphysical books about anything and everything, Jesus, angels, chakras, all the things. And it was a very secret love affair. So a lot of people, most people in my life did not know I was doing that. There were maybe 1 or 2 people in my life that knew I was going down this path. So that's what this feels like. A little scandalous. Be careful with it, of course. Take it slow. But also, I don't feel like it's something you can't keep yourself from. There's a curiosity that's guiding this secret love affair. So see where your curiosity is trying to take you. Obviously do it as safely as you can, but there is something for you here. That's why you're being guided. You'll learn something about yourself. There is it's a little bit of like follow the rainbow to the pot of gold. There's something that you get from this. There's something that is unexpected as well. You might think that, sometimes a secret love affair, right? Like if we think about an affair, we're like, oh, it's because I'm going to be with this person and that's why I'm having this affair. Like that may very much not be why you're going down this path, but there is something that you get out of it. You learn from it. But I do feel like you need to go slowly. It feels like one step at a time and following that curiosity in a safe way. Because the saying, curiosity killed the cat. I think about that sometimes when my cat looks over the second floor window and I'm like, you cannot jump from here, you will die. And it's kind of like, she's curious, she's looking over. So you have to kind of know when to stop looking over. So that is the message here, right? Like, so you peek over, but you get enough of a view, but that doesn't mean you make the whole leap. So I speak in metaphor, guys. Prediction number 4, I'm excited about this. There is a new way in making money. You're going to make money in a different way. Some of you may not like this one because this may mean some layoffs. This may mean your company is even like shifting your position, and maybe, I don't even know if that's possible, but like a demotion or something. But be positive about this. This is actually a good thing. And there's just an overall change in how money is being made. I think we're going to see that in a bigger picture as well. There's going to be this focus on just different ways to bring in income. Like, so you might see maybe the company you're working for, like introduce a new product or a new funnel of money to come into. This may be you yourself in your own business. This may be even a side business, right? That maybe you're like, oh, I'm a writer and I always take writing jobs. But maybe you're like, you know what? But I also love to work out. So I'm actually going to start a personal training business on the side. So that might be, again, kind of secret love affair, going another way from what you were typically doing, but also bringing in another funnel of income and of money. Also, this message feels like maybe you have a business and the way you make money changes. So maybe you were making a lot of money from one way or one product or one service. It looks like you introduce something else that is going to be a bigger moneymaker than like your original moneymaker, which is exciting. So have some optimism in this. Some of this is going to happen to you and you're not going to want it to happen to you. Like some of us, that's going to happen. And then some of us are going to be scared that like, I have to move this way. So for example, let's say you have a business and you're realizing that your cash cow is just not selling the way that it used to, and you're like, oh my gosh. So you're forced to innovate, and you may not want to innovate because it's so comfy and cozy to have this cash cow. And now you have to innovate, but it's in the long term, like a really, really good thing. So be optimistic about this. Try to let go and let God in this situation. And for some of you, you're going to take the action. You're the one doing it. So you're not, like God is not, making it happen. It's more like you got the hit a while ago and you've been making changes as to how you make money. But for some of us, it will happen to us. But remember, you're the hero in your own story. You got this, and this is going to be a good thing long term. Prediction number 5. My friends, if you do not take the up level or the little hint or the message that you've been receiving over the last few months, it feels like something's been poking at you since even last year. Like it looks like it might have started around October, November, like the winter, well, on my side of the world, October, November, December. Something has been poking at you and you've been called to make some changes or called to, it feels like an up level. It feels like an upgrade from the way you've been functioning. But it's scary to take up levels and it's scary to make those leaps and to change and all that. So, sometimes we put them off as long as we can. And sometimes it's hard to trust our intuition. So I get it if you haven't moved forward. But this month is, if you haven't moved forward and you're refusing to move forward, it really looks like this month is going to show some complications. So just be aware of that. It's not bad that the complications happen. It's just more so it's actually going to validate your intuition. So sometimes you're like, oh, see, I knew it. I knew this was going to happen. That's why I was getting those messages a couple months ago. Okay, confirmation that I have to make that change, confirmation that I can't hang out with that person anymore, confirmation that I have to leave my job, things like that. So it's not bad, but it does look like there'll be complications. So that could be like your body gives out on you because you're so exhausted from this like toxic situation that you're in. That could be that I just feel like people almost like maybe your schedule gets complicated or people that rely on you start to get complicated, like almost if you've been trying to hold up all these relationships and like do everything for everybody, all of a sudden like all those people come at the exact same time and you're like, oh, whoa, like I should have worked on my codependency and I should have worked on like letting these people be more independent. And now they're like really coming after me because I've trained them to treat me that way. So there's a little bit of a complication, nothing that you can't, fix or kind of turn around. It doesn't look anything long term or that, stays there forever, but it is something that is going to remind you that you should have listened to yourself a few months ago. Prediction number 6, April, although it's, a new season and even, we're leaving winter, we're moving into spring. So that's exciting, but it is not a flowy month. It is not a month that we go with the flow. It's not a month of like stopping and smelling the roses. It's actually a grunt. Like I felt a grunt. So you know what a grunt is? Like a grunt, when you're working out and you're at, rep number 8 and you're dying, you don't know if you can make it to 10, you have to grunt through 9 and 10. That's what this month feels like. But it's a good grunt, right? Like you want to get to that 10. So you're like, I guess the only way to get to 10 is if I make noise. Like the noise actually helps, like I think about when you're delivering a baby, like the noises help to push that baby out. It's not like you're making the noise because you're in pain. Yes, you are in pain, but you're making the noise because it actually gives you like an extra energy that you need to get to the finish line. So to not expect much different, it feels like I don't even want to call it hard. It's not hard because it's something that we chose. It's like a goal. It's something that we're accomplishing. We're excited to do it, but we don't have the muscles yet to like really do it. So it does take a little bit of extra strength, and we might see ourselves like making noises, grunting. Grunting is also kind of complaining. Like, I think complaining is kind of a funny thing that we do. Sometimes we think we're being a victim by complaining, but a lot of us are complaining because we're just vocalizing the hard thing that we're doing. You know, like, what's that saying that like men say that they've learned that when their wives or their girlfriends or whatever complain, that they're not necessarily complaining for you to fix the problem. They just need you to hear them. That's kind of what this is. I don't even see you needing to be heard. I just see you having to make noise as you do this hard thing. So that might be complaining, that might be like grunting, that might be, you know, just really using your throat. That could be journaling, getting it out. And it's not a sign of anything bad. You're not really confused or lost. It's just, you just need to vocalize it as you do the thing. And our last prediction, my favorite, sexy pays off this month. Any investment in your sexiness. What does sexy mean? Sexy means obviously your looks, the way the way you look, but also sexy is about magnetizing. Sexy is about attracting people towards us. And it looks like there are some changes that you might do that make you more attractive. And I don't mean completely looks wise. It means like, maybe for me, I'm changing my branding on my website, and maybe that branding is sexier than what I had before, and it pays off because it attracts more people than it did before. You get what I mean? Maybe there's some jewelry you change, a lipstick, you put a new nail polish. There's something about the things that make us sexy. Maybe working out, even though like your body doesn't necessarily look different, but you feel better about yourself, your energy changes, and therefore you are sexier. You believe in yourself more, you have more worth. There's something that you do, and maybe if you're on the fence about even just something physical, changing something physical, I would say that it's not vain. It's actually an investment into bringing more into your life, because when you're sexy, you're attracting. And when you're attracting, what you're doing is you are a magnet of the things that you want in your life. You're pulling things towards you. I think sometimes we're afraid to be sexy. Like, I know I have a very Cuban body. I'm from Miami, but of Cuban descent. And I have a small waist, big hips, big butt. And like, when I go to the gym, I try my best to like cover it because it feels like a little much, because it's like, I don't want that attention, right? So sometimes there's things about us that are sexy, but we cover them because we don't want the attention. But my sense is, as you are developing your emotional maturity, you're getting stronger in yourself, and the attention is something that you're directing. Because if I didn't know, if I was, 19 and had that body, which I did, but I didn't know how to call in like the type of person, let's say, that I wanted, or the type of guy, then I would be attracting a bunch of different guys, and I wouldn't be able to know how to say yes or no. So hide myself for a while until I get strong enough to be like very clear what I want to attract. So this investment in your sexiness is worth it now, because you know what you want to attract. And I don't mean this by like attention from the opposite sex or the same sex. I mean this by like attracting things into your life. So you can put yourself out there, be sexy, like use your voice, like show yourself, all that, because you're going to attract something intentional that you set the intention for. If you haven't set the intention for, obviously that's the first step. It's really like, okay, what do I want from my life? Like, if I could attract anything right now, what would I want to attract? Okay, cool. That's what I want to attract. That's what I want to bring into my life. Okay, great. Now I'm going to let myself be sexy. I'm really going to let myself attract things, be open to calling things in, bringing things in. And that's going to probably require me to just let myself be seen. And that part of the reason I haven't been being seen or letting myself be seen is because I was afraid of my own power. I was afraid of what I was going to call in. But now I can trust myself around what I call in, because I know how to handle that. So that's really the vibe. And if you don't resonate with the part where I was saying, you know how to handle it, you're strong enough, then cool, that's fine. Then work on that part, that if you were to attract a bunch, it's kind of like saying, if I were to win the lottery today and, I don't know, win $10 million, but I've been horrible with my finances my whole life, I'm a big spender, in a way, it's like I actually don't want to attract 10 million because I feel so uncomfortable with money and I seem to always mess it up. So I'm actually pushing away money. I don't want money to find me attractive. So what I'm going to do is, like, I'm going to work even with the little money I have. Let's say I only make $1,000 a month. Well, I'm going to be really good at taking care of that 1,000 so that I can feel ready to attract more, so that it's not a bad experience anymore. It's a good experience. So even something like, of course I want to attract $10 million, but funny thing is that we don't always want to be attractive. We don't always want to be seen because the attention may make us feel very unstable. So it's really about getting stable in this thing first. And then, so some of you are going to need to get stable and some of you are ready because you have become stable in this thing. And that sexiness is going to pay off. I'm excited. Send me postcards of your pretty, sexy self. All right, friends, I hope those predictions were helpful. I can't wait to hear how your April looks. Please drop in the comments any sort of prediction that really stood out to you or what you really think is coming through for you for April. I can't wait to see it, and I will see you in the next episode.